Hey guys, this is Chase from Burnout Inc. Setting up my brand new apartment right now, and it's blazing hot outside, so I figured I would get myself a treat. Maybe a popsicle or some ice cream, and uh-oh. Excuse me. What happened to all the food in here?
I froze it and ate it. It was delicious.
You couldn't save me a popsicle?
They are my popsicles, and you can't have any.
So here is Mr. Freeze outside of cold storage, haha. Now this guy is part of the DC Superheroes line of toys that Mattel did. It predates the current DC Universe Classic toys. You've probably seen a lot of this figure before on eBay and YouTube, but not this version. This version is the New York Comic Con exclusive. What makes him exclusive is the paint apps. The original DC Superheroes Mr. Freeze, he had a lot of blue on him instead of black. This shade of blue was definitely darker, and there was a little bit more gray thrown in there. And this one is a little bit more comic book accurate, I think, and overall it just looks really cool. I got this guy years ago, so he has been in storage. His joints are all really loose, so when you see me pose him and stuff like that, don't just take that as saying, oh, well, this figure has loose joints, I don't want that. No, if you can find this guy at a good price, definitely track him down. I was able to get him for $50 on eBay before they jumped up in price. So, let's get to the review. The paint apps on this thing are amazing. This is probably one of the most detailed action figures I own. It's really good because of all the frosting and just the icicles that are on Mr. Freeze's armor. Let's take the gun out of his hand so you can see this better. One quick thing about the gun, it was supposed to have a gimmick, as most action figures used to have. You can kind of see a little nozzle in there, because you were supposed to fill up his pack here with water. And I don't know where they covered up the hole for it. But yeah, you're supposed to be able to fill the pack up with water and then press a button and it sprays out. And I always thought its gun kind of looked like a ship for some reason. It's the free ship coming in for a landing. His pack can come off. It's just a little peg. It goes right into the back of the armor. And yeah, just look at the paint apps. They're very awesome. On the helmet too, you can see a bunch of frost, just a bunch of frost and buildup and condensation and stuff like that. And his skin tone looks really cool too. It's blue with it's either like a white with a blue airbrush to it, so it looks very spotty and blotchy. And of course the goggles, they look awesome. Gotta love the black on metallic blue here. It looks so cool. The little spots of red make it stand out too. I like the highlighted silver on here. And then of course, like I said, just the frost buildup on his armor just really sells the figure. And then here's the gun. It's got a lot of frost on it. It's got a lot of icicles sticking out of it because of course he fires it. It's got a nice kind of two-tone. It's got your basic black on here, and then it's got some white just to show off that, you know, Freeze has been firing the gun. Same thing with the canisters on the back. You can definitely, there's just a very basic gray to it, and then it's got white frosting, or frosted all over it, or airbrushed or whatever. The hoses look cool. I don't know why I like the hoses so much, but I think they look great. The only problem with it is the gun's really, really big, and it makes it difficult for Freeze to hold it. So you have to kind of slide this into there, and he's got like a little trigger finger right there, even though there's no trigger on the gun. So you kind of do that, and you can slide this part like right there, or let's see if I can get it underneath, or underneath. Underneath is usually the best way, because then he can hold it up at a better angle. Let's see if I can get this right. And then there you go. Another good thing about him is that when you turn him, his head turns on the inside of the helmet, so you don't actually turn this piece. It'll turn in there, so he can do cool action poses.
Mr. Freeze popsicles coming to Walmart.
Sorry, I like to play around with this figure a lot. It just helps for when you want to do really cool posing with him. You can turn him at an angle, and his head will turn along with it. And then, of course, he's got a handle right there, just to kind of help hold the gun up, because the gun is big and it will drop to his sides. All right. So articulation-wise, like I said, with the head, you have to turn him right there at the upper abdomen, bottom of the chest, whatever you want to call that. So we just call it. Well, you have to turn him at the chest, and that turns the head. It would be kind of nice if you could do it yourself, but this is still pretty cool. At least it works. His arms can kind of go in and out at the shoulder, but with the way the mold is, it doesn't really do that. They can go 360, and like I said, really loose because of the storing. It can rotate all the way at the upper bicep. He's got a single joint right there at the elbow. He's got some good wrist articulation. No hand articulation. No waist, but then again, you got the turning there. He's got the classic DC Universe joints here to where his hips can go out like that and then all the way forward with perfect ease. I like these. I like these a little bit more than I do the ball joints that they put in the Marvel Legends characters. I just think these are a little bit more durable and they make for better posing, and it helps with the sculpt of them too. And the DC Universe characters, they kind of have a more bulky, muscular appearance to the Marvel Legends. I will give Marvel Legends credit for keeping everything in scale and trying to make them look different with each character, even though sometimes they reuse the same molds. But DC Universe, with their kind of stock molds that you'll see in a lot of the superhero characters like Batman, Superman, Riddler, Joker, Two-Face, it at least makes it easier to probably mass produce those characters and doesn't take them so long. Okay, so a little side story about why I like it. He can rotate at the hip. He's got a single joint in the knee. And he can rotate all the way at the ankle. And he does have some articulation there too. God, these are awesome boots. I would wear these to work. That's how awesome I think these boots are. So that was my review of the DC Superheroes New York Comic Con exclusive Mr. Freeze. I would definitely pick him up if you can find him for a good price. And if you're a serious collector, just, shell out $100. You definitely won't be disappointed. I love the articulation. I totally dig the gimmick with the helmet in there, how it rotates. The gun's cool, the pack is cool. They're just a little bit too bulky for me at times. If anybody that watches this review, if you can post in the comments any tips that you might have for stiffening the articulator, for just to where I can stiffen up his articulation. I've heard things about how you can use super glue or like rubber cement, but I know with super glue that it kind of leaves like a white film, or it tends to crust up on the mold. So I don't want to do this for this figure, because he's such a rare find, and I don't want to screw him up. So yeah, if anybody could at least post a comment on what would be a good idea to do, that would be awesome. Scoring wise, and I know I'm not consistent with scoring, sometimes I just completely forget to do it, but I'm going to try to keep at it. So I'd say articulation wise, I'm going to give him a 9.5. It would have been nice to move the head sculpt and if he had some waist articulation, but for what he does have, it's really, really good. The sculpt and the paint, I'm giving it a perfect 10. It looks amazing. This is the ideal Mr. Freeze figure. Accessories, he has the gun. If you buy him brand new, which I did too, he actually came with a diorama of it was like a Batman symbol that you folded up, and it was like kind of frosted over, giving it the Mr. Freeze vibe, and that was really cool. So with the gun and that, I would give it a 9 too. So overall, I'm gonna give this figure a 9.5. It is a definite must buy. Even if you get like the regular Mr. Freeze version or the Batman Legacy one where he's like pink, purple, and white and looks completely goofy, repaint him to look like this, because this is awesome. I mean, just look at the paint, look at the detail. It's amazing. Alright, so first review done in the new apartment. I think I like this setup, so we'll keep it. I might switch out the posters from now on, and I definitely do need to make a new Burnout Inc. sign. So, this was Chase from Burnout Inc., and I will see you guys next time.